You know that feeling when your heart suddenly stops? When time seems to freeze and you're caught between wanting to run away and wanting to stay forever? That's exactly what happened to me on a quiet Tuesday evening in March in a modest apartment in Seattle. When I walked into my roommate's room without knocking, my name is Jordan. And this is the story of how one accidental moment shattered the walls I had built around my heart and led me to a love I never thought I deserved, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. I moved into that apartment on Capitol Hill 3 months before. Everything changed. I found the place through a simple ad on Craigslist. Roommate wanted. 2-bedroom apartment close to downtown. Clean, respectful, drama-free, preferred. The rent was reasonable. The location was perfect for my new job at an architectural firm. And honestly, I was desperate. That's how I met Elijah. When I first saw him standing in the doorway of what would become our shared home, something shifted inside my chest. He was tall, about 6'2", with warm brown skin that seemed to glow in the afternoon light. His hair was short on the sides, with tight curls on top that he often ran his fingers through when he was thinking. His eyes were the color of coffee, deep, expressive, and framed by long lashes most people would pay good money for. But it wasn't just his looks. It was the way he smiled open. Genuine, like he was truly happy to meet me. It was his voice, low and smooth, with a soft southern accent from growing up in Georgia. "Jordan, right?" he said, extending his hand. "I'm Elijah. Come on in. Let me show you around." When I took his hand, warm and confident, a small electric spark ran up my arm. I told myself it was just nerves. I told myself a lot of things that turned out to be lies. The apartment was perfect. Hardwood floors, big windows, a kitchen with actual counter space. My room was smaller than his, but I didn't mind. It looked out over the street where cherry blossoms would bloom in spring. It felt like a fresh start. "So, a little about me," Elijah said as we stood in the living room. "I work at Seattle Children's Hospital. I'm a pediatric nurse. Been there 2 years. I usually work 3 12-hour shifts a week. I'm pretty quiet. I like to cook. And I promise I'm not a serial killer." I laughed. "It felt good, architect," I said. "Junior associate downtown. I like to read. And I'm also not a serial killer." "Sounds like we'll get along," he said, smiling, and my stomach did a small flip. I moved in the next weekend. Elijah helped me carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs, his t-shirt clinging to his shoulders. I tried not to notice. I tried not to notice a lot of things. The first month was easy. We slipped into a comfortable routine without effort. Elijah left before dawn on work days, moving quietly so he wouldn't wake me. On his days off, I'd come home to find him in the kitchen, cooking something that smelled amazing. "Are you hungry?" became his usual greeting. He always said he made too much. He never did. He was just generous. We ate together at the small dining table, sharing stories about our days. He told me about the kids at the hospital, funny moments, touching moments, moments that stayed with him. I told him about my design projects and deadlines. "I think what you do is incredible," he said one night. "You create spaces where people make memories." "And you save lives," I replied. He smiled. "We're both doing our part, I guess." It was during those dinners that I learned who he really was. He loved old jazz, Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis. He had paused his nursing degree to care for his sick mother. She had passed away 2 years earlier, and he still wore the silver watch she gave him. He called his younger sister every Sunday. He was kind, thoughtful, quietly funny, and beautiful. Inside and out. I was in trouble, and I knew it. But I locked my feelings away. I had to. I'd seen photos of his ex-girlfriend on his nightstand. He'd mentioned her casually, how she'd moved to New York, and I had learned long ago that hoping for the impossible only led to pain. I'd known I was gay since high school. Coming out hadn't been easy. My family wasn't cruel, but they weren't accepting either. Their silence said everything. I learned to protect myself, to not want what I couldn't have. Living with Elijah tested that every day. 2 months in, things started to change. Small things. Our hands. Brushing when passing a plate, the way he leaned close while talking, the scent of his colon warm and woody. The way he sometimes looked at me like he was trying to understand something. One Friday night, we watched a movie together. It had become our tradition. I made popcorn. He picked the film. At first, we sat apart. Then, slowly, the distance disappeared. His arm rested along the back of the couch, close enough that I could feel his warmth. I noticed everything, every breath, every movement in the movie. A character came out to his best friend. The friend reacted with immediate love and acceptance. It was everything I had once wished for. That must be hard, Elijah said softly. Not being accepted, Yah replied. It is. Was it hard for you? He asked. My heart raced. Yeah, I admitted. My family didn't take it well. We're okay now, but it's different. He placed his hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry, he said. For what it's worth, I think you're amazing, just as you are. I turned to him. Our faces were closer than I expected. His eyes were gentle, honest, and something else. For a moment, we just stared. Then he cleared his throat. Want more popcorn? Sure, I said, though my voice sounded strange. The moment passed. But everything had changed. After that, the tension grew. We lingered in conversations, found excuses to be near each other late at night. I'd hear him moving in his room, restless, and wonder what he was thinking. One Sunday afternoon, he taught me his grandmother's cornbread recipe. You have to feel the dough, he said, standing behind me, guiding my hands. You'll know when it's right. I couldn't focus. All I felt was his warmth, his breath near my ear, his hands over mine. Jordan, he said softly, and something in his voice made me freeze. He went quiet for a moment, and I could feel the tension building between us. Then he stepped back. Nothing, he said softly. You're doing great. But it wasn't nothing. We both knew it. The week before everything changed was pure torture. Elijah picked up extra shifts at the hospital, covering for a colleague on medical leave. He came home exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, shoulders heavy with fatigue. But every time he saw me, he still smiled. Rough day? I'd ask. Long day, he'd correct. But it's better now. I never knew what to do with comments like that. They sounded like they meant something more. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe. I was just reading into things because I wanted them to matter. On Tuesday afternoon, he texted me. Can you pick up some groceries? I want to make dinner tonight. My treat. After work, I stopped at the store and bought everything on his list, plus a bottle of good wine. When I got home, I heard the shower running in his bathroom. I put the groceries away and sat on the couch with a book, trying to focus. But my mind kept drifting. The shower stopped. A moment later, I remembered the fresh towels I'd taken from the dryer earlier. They were still sitting in the basket by the laundry closet. He probably needed one. Without thinking, I grabbed a towel and walked down the hallway. Elijah, I've got a clean towel for you, I called. Knocking lightly on his half-open door, then everything changed. I pushed the door open, towel in hand, already forming an apology, and then I saw him. Elijah stood in the middle of his room, water still glistening on his skin. Wearing only a towel wrapped low around his waist, he was even more beautiful than I had imagined. Lean muscle, broad shoulders, smooth, glowing skin. But that wasn't what stopped me. It was his face. His eyes were closed. His head tilted back slightly, his hand pressed against his chest. Right over his heart, he looked vulnerable, lost, conflicted, like he was fighting something inside himself. Soft music played from his phone on the dresser. I recognized the song, Call Out My Name, by The Week. A song about loving someone you can't have. Jordan, he said quietly. Opening his eyes, he didn't sound surprised. He didn't try to cover himself. He just looked at me, and in that moment, I saw everything he had been hiding for 3 months. He felt it too. I'm sorry, I stammered. I didn't mean to. I brought you a towel, he said gently. Then he took a step toward me. Then another. I should go, I whispered, but I didn't move. The towel felt like a lifeline in my hands. Should you? He asked. His voice was rough, uncertain, hopeful, afraid. All at once, the air between us felt electric. Every instinct told me to run, to protect myself. But a deeper part of me wanted to stay, Elijah. I whispered, What are we doing? He was close now, close enough for me to see water droplets sliding down his neck, close enough to smell his soap and something that was just him. His hand lifted. Hovering inches from my face. I don't know, he admitted, but I can't stop thinking about you. I've tried. God knows I've tried. But every time I see you, every time you smile at me, I lose my mind. My heart pounded. You're straight, I said. I thought I was, he replied with a shaky laugh. I really did. But then you moved in, and everything I thought I knew about myself fell apart. I've been terrified. I don't know what this means. But what I feel with you is more real than anything I've ever known. The towel slipped from my hands and fell to the floor. Neither of us looked down. I can't be an experiment, I said, my voice breaking. I can't be someone you try things with and then walk away from. I've been hurt too many times. You're not an experiment, Elijah said quickly. His hand finally touched my face, cupping my jaw with incredible gentleness. Jordan, you're not an experiment. You're the person who makes me want to come home. You're the first person I think about in the morning and the last at night. You're the reason I realize that how we love matters more than who we love. A tear slipped down my cheek. He brushed it away. I'm scared, I confessed. Me too, he said. I'm terrified. But I'm more scared of never trying. We stood there, breathing the same air, standing on the edge of something life-changing. Tell me to stop, he whispered. Tell me you don't feel this too, and I'll never bring it up again. I couldn't, because I did feel it. I had felt it from the beginning. Don't stop. I breathed, and then he kissed me at first. It was gentle, careful, like we were afraid of breaking something fragile. His lips were soft and warm. Tasting faintly of mint, his hand stayed on my jaw, one sliding to my hip. Pulling me closer, then something shifted. The kiss deepened. 3 months of longing and restraint poured out between us. My hands found his shoulders. Still damp from the shower, he shivered under my touch. We finally pulled apart, breathless, foreheads touching. Wow, he whispered. Yeah, I agreed. My voice shaking, he searched my face. Was that okay? I laughed softly. Okay, Elijah? That was life-changing, he smiled. I should probably put on clothes, he said awkwardly. Probably, I agreed. Even though part of me didn't want him to move. Hey, he said, lifting my chin. I'm not going anywhere. This isn't just a moment. I nodded. Give me 2 minutes, he said. Kissing my forehead before stepping back, I returned to the living room, heart racing, lips still tingling. Elijah had kissed me. Elijah had feelings for me. It felt unreal, like a dream. I was afraid to believe a few minutes later. He returned wearing sweatpants and a gray t-shirt. Hair still damp. He looked nervous. Can we talk? He asked. Yeah, I said, patting the couch. We should. He sat beside me, leaving a small space between us. I need you to understand something, he began. I've never felt this way before. About anyone. And I know that's scary. It is, I admitted. I've been thinking about you for weeks, he continued. I talked to a therapist. I needed to understand myself. You did? I asked, surprised. He nodded. I needed to be sure. I learned that sexuality can be fluid. And what I know is this: I'm attracted to you. Not just men. You. My throat tightened. You really thought this through? You're worth it, he said simply. I won't be perfect, he continued. But I'm serious about us. I saw the honesty in his eyes. I've been in love with you since our second week, I confessed suddenly. That night we ate pasta on the fire escape. You talked about your mom, and I just fell. His eyes widened. That long? Every day since has been torture, I admitted. You can have me, he said softly, taking my hand. If you want. I looked at our fingers intertwined. I want you, I said. I'm just scared. Then we'll be scared together, he replied. We'll take it slow. Slow, I repeated. He smiled. So, what now? He asked. Now, I said lightly, you owe me dinner. We didn't eat right away. We stayed on the couch for hours talking about everything. Our feelings. Our fears. Our pasts? I don't want to hurt you, he said quietly. Then don't, I replied. Just be honest. I will, he promised. We ended up ordering pizza. Cooking felt too ambitious after everything we had just been through. We ate on the living room floor. Our backs against the couch, shoulders brushing. Is this weird? I asked between bites. Should this feel weird? Elijah smiled softly. It doesn't feel weird to me. It feels right. Does it feel weird to you? I thought about it. Everything had changed, and yet somehow it already felt normal. No, I said. It feels natural. Good, he replied. Then he leaned over and kissed me. It was soft and sweet, tasting like pizza and promise. That night, we decided not to tell anyone right away, not because we were ashamed, but because we wanted time to understand what us meant without pressure. Without opinions, we wanted it to be ours first. A private, precious secret. Living together, though, made that secret deliciously difficult. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee and bacon. I wandered into the kitchen and found Elijah at the stove. Already dressed in his scrubs for his noon shift. Morning, he said, glancing back with a smile that made my heart skip. Morning, I replied, and because I could. I walked up behind him and wrapped my arms around his waist. Resting my cheek against his back, he froze for a second, then relaxed into me. Is this okay? I asked quietly. More than okay, he murmured. I could get used to this. We ate together. Playing footsie under the table like teenagers, it was ridiculous and wonderful and everything I'd never let myself hope for. I have to go, Elijah said reluctantly, checking his watch. But I'll be home around midnight. Will you wait up? Maybe, I teased. Depends what's in it for me. He walked around the table, cupped my face, and kissed me slowly and deeply, leaving me breathless. That, he whispered against my lips, is what's in it for you, and I'll definitely wait, I said softly. The next few weeks felt like a revelation. We found a new rhythm, one filled with stolen kisses in the kitchen. Late night, talks in bed, quiet moments that felt sacred. Elijah surprised me every day with his thoughtfulness. He learned exactly how I liked my coffee, he noticed. When I was stressed and rubbed my shoulders without asking, he left little notes around the apartment, thinking about you. On the mirror, you're amazing on my desk. Behind his confident exterior, I discovered how vulnerable he really was. He worried about being enough, about doing things right, about losing me. And I learned how to reassure him with words, with touch. With love, he was more than enough. He was everything. Taking things slow. It didn't mean there wasn't passion. Our kisses grew deeper, longer, more intense. We'd end up tangled, together on the couch, breathless before one of us pulled back, respecting the boundaries we'd set. I want you so much it hurts, Elijah admitted one night. Forehead pressed to mine. I know, I whispered. Me too. But we both wanted to do this right. You're worth waiting for, he told me gently. A month later, we went on our first official date. Elijah, I planned everything. He told me to dress nice. When I stepped out in dark jeans and a button-down shirt, the look in his eyes made me feel unstoppable. You look incredible, he said quietly. So do you, I replied. Admiring his fitted black shirt, he took me to a small Italian restaurant in Fremont candlelight. Soft music. Warm atmosphere. We held hands across the table, talked, laughed, and for the first time in my life, I felt completely free. Thank you, I said over shared tiramisu, for being brave. for choosing us. He looked at me softly. I'm falling in love with you, Jordan. I think I always have been. My heart felt too big for my chest. I love you too, I whispered. We walked home under quiet streetlights, arms wrapped around each other. That night, we slept in his bed, fully clothed, just holding each other. Stay, he murmured. I stayed. 6 weeks later, Elijah came home determined. I want to tell my sister, he said. I'm done hiding. I was nervous, but I nodded. Okay, that Sunday, he video called Maya. Jordan, I'm in a relationship, Elijah said. With my roommate, silence. Then Maya said, is Jordan a guy or a girl? I just want the pronouns right. Elijah laughed in relief. He's a guy.
Cool. Are you happy? I'm in love. Then that's all that matters. She insisted on meeting me. Hi, I said awkwardly. Oh my God, you're cute. She laughed. No wonder he's obsessed. We talked for over an hour. She made me feel welcomed, accepted, seen later. Elijah hugged me. See, I told you. I think I'm ready to tell my family too, I said quietly. 2 weeks later, we drove to Spokane. Elijah held my hand the entire way. We'll face it together. He kept reminding me at my parents' house. My mom hugged me tightly. Then Elijah gently said, I'm not just his roommate. I'm his boyfriend. My mother froze. My dad invited us inside. The conversation was hard. There were tears, but there was honesty. We were wrong, my dad admitted. We were scared. And we hurt you. I'm sorry, my mother cried. I'm so sorry, Jordan. We hugged. It wasn't perfect, but it was a beginning. Summer arrived, golden days, warm nights. For months together felt like a miracle. We started talking about the future. A place with a balcony, Elijah said. A bigger kitchen, I added. And maybe a dog, he smiled. A rescue, I said. Like us. 6 months after that accidental moment, Elijah took me back to the restaurant. He was nervous. I noticed the key on my dessert. Jordan, he said softly. I found us an apartment. Capitol Hill. Balcony. Big kitchen. Hardwood floors. Then he held up another key. I'm ready, he whispered. To build a life with you. Will you move in with me? I was crying. Yes, I laughed. Yes, 1,000 times yes. He pulled me up and kissed me in the middle of the restaurant. And I knew that wrong moment had been the right one. People were applauding. And I heard someone whisper, oh my God, that's so beautiful. But all I could focus on was Elijah, his arms wrapped tightly around me. His heartbeat pressed against mine. Moving into our new apartment was chaotic, exhausting, and absolutely wonderful. Maya flew in from Atlanta to help. She brought her boyfriend, Marcus, and he and Elijah became friends instantly. The two of them bonded while trying and failing to follow furniture instructions. One afternoon, as we unpacked boxes in the kitchen, Maya smiled at me and said, I've never seen my brother like this before. He's always the one taking care of everyone else. But with you, he lets himself be cared for too. That's how I know you're the real thing. He's my real deal too, I replied, glancing at Elijah and Marcus arguing playfully over a bookshelf. A month later, my parents came to visit. It was still a little awkward, but everyone was trying. There was genuine effort, and that meant everything. My mom brought us a framed print that read, Home is wherever we're together. I saw this and thought of you, she said softly, her eyes shining. I'm proud of you, Jordan, of the life you've built, of the man you've become. That night, after everyone had left, Elijah and I stood on our balcony, looking out at the city lights. Do you remember that night? I asked. The night I walked into your room. Every detail, he said, wrapping his arms around me. Your face, my racing heart, the feeling that everything was about to change. I was terrified, I admitted. Me too, he smiled. But sometimes the scariest moments lead to the best things. I walked in at exactly the right time, I said. No, he replied, resting his forehead against mine. We found each other at exactly the right time. A year later, Elijah surprised me with a trip to the coast. We rented a small cabin by the ocean. We walked barefoot on the beach, collected sea glass, and cooked simple meals in the tiny kitchen. On our last night, as the sky turned orange, pink, and purple, he took my hand. I have something for you, he said. You already gave me this trip, I laughed. That's more than enough. Just open it. Inside the box was a simple silver ring, elegant, strong, and perfect. It's a promise ring, he explained. This is my promise that someday, when the time is right, I'll ask you to marry me. And until then, I'm choosing you, always. My hands were shaking. I know you might not be ready, he said quickly. And that's okay. I can wait. I just want you to know where my heart is. I slid the ring onto my finger. It fit perfectly. I'm not saying let's get married tomorrow, I said softly. But you're it for me, Elijah. You always have been. We held each other as the sun disappeared into the ocean to people who had found home in each other later. We hosted a party in our apartment. Family, friends, co-workers, and neighbors filled every corner. Speech. Maya shouted. Elijah squeezed my hand and began. 2 years ago, Jordan walked into my room at the worst possible moment. I was confused, emotional, and completely unprepared. Everyone laughed, but it turned out to be the best moment of my life, because it forced us to be honest, to be brave, to take a chance. I learned that love doesn't always look how you expect, and that home isn't a place, it's a person. Jordan is my home. Then it was my turn. I spent most of my life believing I wasn't enough. I said that I had to hide parts of myself. But Elijah showed me, day by day, that I deserved love, that I deserved happiness. My voice trembled. Thank you for choosing me every single day. We kissed, and the room exploded with applause. Later that night, while cleaning up, Elijah led me to our bedroom. For a moment, I remembered that first night, the fear, the uncertainty. But this time, there were no walls. He got down on one knee. Jordan, I've been carrying this ring for months, waiting for the perfect moment. And I realized, there is no perfect moment. There's only now. He opened the box. Will you marry me? I was already crying. Yes, of course. Yes. 3 months later, we were married on that same beach. Maya stood beside Elijah. My best friend stood beside me. Both our families cried happy tears. We wrote our own vows. I promised to choose you every day, Elijah said. I promised to listen, to support you, and to grow with you. When it was my turn, I smiled. I promised to love you with everything I have, to laugh with you, to stand by you, to remind you every day how much you mean to me. When we were pronounced married, something inside me finally felt complete. That night, under string lights and stars, Elijah whispered, "No regrets." "Not a single one," I replied. "Best accident of my life." "Maybe it wasn't an accident," he said. "Maybe it was fate." As we swayed together, I thought about the scared version of myself from 2 years ago, the boy who thought he wasn't worthy of love. I wish I could tell him, it will be okay, you will be loved, you will find home. Because sometimes walking in at the wrong time is actually walking in at the right time. Sometimes the moment that changes everything is the one you never expect, and sometimes walking into a room means walking into the rest of your life.